in time.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So
if there's one thing I've learned, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let's get started.
If there's one thing I've learned, it's that we can all do badass, but Rivers will always end up grounding us with his rolls.
Yep. Don't worry, I am astute at making really shit rolls. It's
I
my
like
profession.
All right. When Walter Peck gets on roll 20, we'll start rolling. We're just gonna start rolling for starting resources.
God, you're recording me already? No.
You want me to link it to you?
What?
I'm talking to Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have any of the Ice and Fire manuals on this computer. It was on my old one before I switched over.
Don't worry, you won't need it right now.
Yeah, Mike just wants the out of strife.
Yeah, there's some nice, interesting things in there depending on how you design a house.
There are, Mike. You don't need to talk about them, but there are very nice, interesting things.
Yep.
What's this under units? Like when I click on the numbers thing, it's like 46-45 equals 1.
What page are you talking about?
I'm on like roll 20 under the numbers tab under the 319 grand campaign thing.
The numbers tab. Okay. Oh, numbers.
It's negative 45 equals.
Oh shit.
1. That's your power.
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's your remainder.
Subtraction
of power.
is hard.
It's actually a math thing.
Yeah, it's a math thing.
I've literally not had to think about math for 6 years.
This stuff is up on the forums too. So.
Yeah, I thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. I got that link for you, Mike. Out of Strife is out there. So.
I was downloading it right now.
Cool.
So, Mike, have any more interesting people before we get started? Interesting people come into your office lately?
There's always interesting people in my office. Risa, see, I've been on paternity leave for the last 2.5 weeks, so no.
Other interesting people.
The question is, are you getting any sleep?
I am now that I'm making the wife sleep in the nursery on an air mattress so I can sleep at night.
Wow, I want titty. That's basically what babies say, right?
Pretty much.
That's pretty much how I am, though, too.
Sleep sounds better than that to me right now. When you're an old man.
Well, all of us can't be as old as you are.
It's different when you're on the outside. Some of us are looking on the outside, looking in.
That's true. All right. So, not really much to choose from in this first part. We're just going to start rolling. All right, everybody's on roll 20. So we're going to look at page...
100 and something.
I flipped away for some reason. Why did I do that?
Like around 100, probably.
Well, we know we're Dorn.
103.
So...
103. No, I'm sorry. 100. It is 100. Okay. We're going to go left to right on roll 20. So Cassius, Walter Peck, Ehrlich, Chris, and we're each going to roll a 3d6. So go ahead, whoever's in front. I think that's Rob, probably.
That is Rob,
We're going to
yes.
roll for defense. So go ahead and you roll your... Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, not 3d6. 76.
76, yeah.
Yep, 76.
Don't we do history first? I mean, I may have forgotten.
No,
but...
this is...
it is defense first, yeah.
Starting resources. 29. Influence is next. 21. Land is next.
Oh, I'm going to roll it out like that instead of doing the little box.
That's fine. 21. Oh, whoops, that's Walter Peck. Sorry.
Save 1 point so we could get a small castle for that defense.
Lol.
That would be Chris.
Yep.
$27 population.
Back to Rob.
Okay.
Nice.
32 for population. Power. The important
Take
stuff.
it away, Walter Peck. No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure at all.
18, I see it. 26.
It's not that bad.
Critical fail, critical fail, critical fail.
Well,
No pressure. No pressure at all.
25. All right.
Seem to be reaching an average.
You guys are pretty close to what they were. Land is not, but okay. So that was their starting resources. So what we'll do is we'll go to historical events now. So now we're going to roll to see how old you are. Who is next? I think it's Chris, right? So you're going to roll a 1d6, and this is on table 6-3, first founding.
Well, aren't we skipping the initial modification?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're right.
Sorry.
Yep, no, it's okay. We can do that. So nothing for defense on for initial modification. -5 for influence. Land is +10. So that's 39. Law is -5 for 22. Population is nothing. Power is +10 to 36. And wealth is nothing. Okay, so got that. Thank you, Rob.
Don't forget the 1d6 for initial modification.
Say it again.
There's a 1d6 roll that you can add to whatever you want in initial modifications.
Yep.
And I would
Did
say
we
put
do
that in
that?
defense, boys. You did do it.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I will personally go and double check on the video.
I don't remember, but
And if you didn't,
Yeah.
I'll make a post about it.
Yeah, I don't have it
But
uploaded
it
yet,
does
but I
say
will.
right.
Yep, you're right. So we'll just take that 4. Is that cool? Everybody cool with that 4 for that?
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
cool with the 4.
That was the next roll. So what do you want to put it in?
Defense.
Well,
I'm
I thought it was
arguing for
everybody.
defense.
Before we start deciding on that stuff, just so you know, influence really does matter if you're going to be doing a lot of house rolls. And it also caps what you can roll for your status. So, for example, if you go down to influence holdings, right now, when you subtract that 5 from my roll of 21, that gives us an influence of 16. That means the maximum effective status you can have is 3.
Yeah, and
That's not all that bad.
So that's what they were, and the way I said since basically what happened is you can have the lowest you can have is 3, right? But the highest you can have is 3. What I said is if you take that influence if you buy that first influence, whenever and if at any time an heir who takes that becomes the lord, they get a status bump automatically to 4. Because otherwise there would be absolutely no reason to ever take that, right? So that's
Hey guys,
what I kind of house ruled that too.
It's each player gets a 1d6.
oh yeah, then we definitely didn't do that.
I know you rolled it once. You may not have rolled it multiple times, but
We can go back
Once you
and
know
we can
the-
go back and change that. That's fine. I might have missed it.
yeah,
sorry.
I know you did it once. That's all I know.
Well, look. Where's that at exactly? I'm sorry.
It's right underneath wealth and in between the example on page 102.
Okay.
Initial modifications. Once the starting values for each resource are determined, each player gets to modify the values by rolling 1d6 and adding it to a resource of their choice.
Okay, that's fine. So right now, do you understand what I'm saying, Mike?
Yes.
Influence, because otherwise there's no reason to ever take that thing. All right. Let's land. Swamp Donkey, if you want to post that to the board and let people know that they'll be able to do that.
All right.
We'll figure out if you did roll one time. I'm not sure you did, honestly, but we'll see. I'll look it over and then let you know. All right, so
we'll go to the video for the instant replay.
See,
Yeah,
is it good that I
replay.
recorded it? Okay, so right now you're at defense 29, influence 16, land 39, law 22, population 32, power 36, wealth 25. So Chris, you rolled your 4. What would you like to put it in? You can obviously discuss that with other people, but
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to make that decision on my own. I'd rather kind of discuss it as a group.
Well, I don't want to fish for something higher if we're not going to get it, you know what I mean? But is it possible that we could roll all of our d6s beforehand? Or is that like we need to go as is? That way we can understand what points that we have? Or do you want it as like an as roll basis?
no, go ahead and roll them all.
Sweet. Now, I know they all didn't roll a d6.
So we have a 4, a 2,
Another 4. And a 5.
Okay. So just remember, the only rule about this is you can't put more than 2 into one different stat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, what is our defense set right now?
29.
We need one more point for a small castle.
Yeah, let's just. How about we put the 2 in the thing? Because we don't necessarily need more defense, right? The thing is we haven't done our history yet either, so we might get negative defense or positive defense. You know what I mean? That's such shit. Whatever.
Plus 2 in defense.
All in favor, say aye. I mean, I'm for it.
Well, that's kind of unfair for us because now we get to add them after we've already done all that.
That's true, but it didn't really matter.
Or I mean unfair for you guys.
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't care if you guys get to do that, honestly. You guys are going to have more rolls anyway, depending upon the amount of players you have. Which it might be wise to see what players they actually will end up having, Tep, before you do give them their 1d6s anyway.
Yeah, that's super true. Well, they have to go to the forum to see it, so... I posted it on the forum. So.
I mean, honestly, if we're looking to, what are we trying to just maximize everything? Because if we are, I would definitely put 2 to get the defense over 30.
Yeah, that's what I'm shooting for. I mean, I'm all right with that because we don't want to put any more points into it because any more points in defense isn't going to really do anything for us unless we get lucky on rolls per. Because if we could get a large castle, holy shit, son! Like.
I would probably put 1 roll into population, and if you're asking why, it's to hedge against a negative population roll in our historical events because you basically are at the max for your house fortune plus roll.
Ted, could you make another numbers handout for us so we can see our active numbers and edit them for ourselves?
Sure can.
Not to like do something or ask for something or out of whatever, but I would very much like it just because.
Yep, you're good. You are good.
But I'm very much fine with the 2 going into the defense, so we can get that one locked down.
Or hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know. We might get Superior Castle.
No, that's almost impossible.
All right.
I
I shared the numbers with you currently as they are.
I would probably put 4 into power and then 9 points into wealth.
You can't put 2 into
No,
1.
you can
so
put
I
up
would-
to 2.
You can put 2.
Up to
Oh, you
2.
can? Yeah.
Up to 2.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we should put 2 in defense, put the 9 in wealth, and then put 4 in power.
And if you're asking why I'm
I can
saying
put
put
my
9 into
power.
wealth, because in the Outer Strife prosperity, I'll just go ahead and explain what I was thinking earlier. Depending on how we want to have this house, if we have, I guess it also depends on where, like what our environment is, like where we're located.
Yeah, we
Is it
haven't set in
stone?
stone.
The reason I say that specifically is horse husbandry with the improvement of warhorse herds.
Yeah, it decreases your cost for
Gives
cavalry
us
and it
insanely
gets-
cheap cavalry, and depending on how we want to do this house, I mean, you think of these sand steeds and the desert riders. I was just thinking of that the other day, and cavalry being an incredibly,
That is true. Yeah, we could be like a entirely, almost kind of like a Dothraki house. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be Dothraki, but we could be a Dornish Sandsteed noble house if we got the right stuff for it. And there's no use of doing it now, but putting 9 into wealth wouldn't be bad for us anyway, because that cements us at least having 34 wealth before our history rolls,
and
right? Like
for 15 wealth, you basically create a cavalry unit whose base cost is cheaper than that of a standard infantry unit.
And not to mention cavalry is inherently better than infantry by far.
Except for storming castles.
So let me.
Who needs to storm castles when they only have a hull?
That's not just them. You're gonna have to be dealing with. But here, let me explain. So when they were, the one thing I had in mind is that I wanted you guys, both houses, to share a small town and a market. And the way I was planning on doing that is by having you guys split the cost and get half the benefits. Okay, so if you look at that, that's like 10 wealth worth right there. Now,
I think it's 10 wealth. It's 10 wealth.
if you split it. Now, if you guys do not want to do that, and this goes for house number 1 as well, you can retract that and do what you want. Okay. Now that was my initial thought, and I'm glad Swamp's here so I can explain that too, because nothing is set in stone from what you guys did. As far as purchases and stuff. So if you don't like that idea, I thought it would be a good tie-in because I want these houses to have not only like familial ties,
history,
but also proximity
Economic.
ties.
Right. So
And
the only
economic
reason we did it is because just in case they did it. So if they don't want to, we could easily change ours.
Yeah.
So a marketplace is basically what you're looking at sharing. So each house would put up 5 wealth for it.
And
Right.
a town.
And because you need a town to make a marketplace, then I said you need this.
Then split the
Yeah.
land.
I would
Everything's
honestly like
split.
to keep it. Honestly, I would rather just keep it in because it's a good way to tie the story together. Honestly, because both of our houses
I
are
think
built
it
around
is
the
the
city.
cool thing.
Yeah, I'd rather keep it and not have it not be a function in the game, right? Like,
Oh, you want to keep it, but not have it, and the stats matter? Is that what you're saying?
oh no. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to keep the function of it. What you're
Okay.
gonna run into is like half effectiveness on a 1d6 plus from
Yes.
you're gonna run into some real dice problems.
Well, I'll roll. I'll round up or something. I mean, whatever, right?
Now, do we also want a brothel at the marketplace? Asking
Well,
for
Well, see, this is Dorne, right? This is Dorne. I mean, like,
All right. Anyway,
that was my argument.
Everybody's house is a brothel.
contracts. So we're going to go 2 to defense, 4 to power, 9 to wealth.
I think that is reasonable.
Works for
Jamie,
me.
good with that?
Yes.
So going going into this, we have 40 power. That's nuts. Before our history rolls even happened.
Now,
Well,
That just makes the character you were thinking about, Rob, even more fun to play. Like, God.
All right, so I've updated that. One other thing that's not stats related that we were talking about with the other group is where they're located. So what they were kind of thinking, and that's kind of set in stone for them. So you have to be somewhere close, but it doesn't have to be like exactly, that would affect like truly affect your land necessarily. But so if I tried to pull up Quartermaster and it's down right now, but whatever. Um, so
I'll
where
post
you?
the thing again.
Yeah. Well, can you make it a little
A little bit
than
bigger?
that? Yeah, because it
Here.
doesn't give you context. So south of Will, north of Ironwood, there's a river that runs from the Red Mountains to the Sea of Norn, and it basically it doesn't have a name as far as I'm aware. I think it comes out of what is that? What is the town? Oh god, there it is.
Kingsgrave?
Skyreach is
Oh,
what
no.
it's technically considered. So if you look in the chat, everyone in the A Song of Ice and Fire text channel, you will see the just throw that into Roll20 too, will you?
I'll make it a little bit bigger, actually. I don't like that. It doesn't have the scourge in there.
Okay. Well, Rob's is good. Hold on.
You can see the edge of the scourge
Yeah, you can see
on
it.
the one that was just posted.
Yeah. So they were thinking like, okay, so basically the delta of the river on the north side. So mine was, if you're going to be.
Oh, you mean on the south side, because they would be closer to Ironwood,
I'm sorry,
right?
on the south side. So the general idea was you guys would be on the north side, and you would have some sort of market town that bridged the river, that sort of thing. Like you'd have a big bridge that went over, and the town would be on both sides, and it would be kind of like that kind of thing. So that's the general gist of it. Their lands include, okay, just so you know, they include river, coast, plains, mountains, and hills because they have a huge amount of land that they got. So they have a big, big terrain area. So. Now, if you guys don't want to be on the north side of the river, that's completely fine. You can be on the south side of the river, just so long it's, in this general vicinity,
We should also hit home that we were the whole rebellion thing, but that's in the post, and you should all go read that, right?
Yeah, and I think I explained it to Mike, but just so you guys don't know, okay, so 5 years ago, there was a rebellion in Dorne, and the rebellion was Quentin Martell, who House Ironwood sided with him against Ariane Martell. They rose up in a rebellion. There's some other houses that joined on each side, and essentially, these houses that you are playing were both banners of House Ironwood. Your house sided with the Martells. The other house sided with the Ironwoods, and basically after the rebellion was over and Martell defeated Quentin and Quentin went into exile, the Martells stripped those banner houses from Ironwood and made them report directly to the Martells so they would take their tax income, etc. And so you guys are happy, the other side is not so happy with that. That's the general gist, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
I feel like this is going to devolve into the Hatfield McCoys.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and it kind of is because one thing when we get into more the fluff part, I want you guys to be like kind of tied in together with family tie. It doesn't have to be like this generation or directly, but you'll be cousins and that kind of thing, and
so we can really hate each other.
right.
There you go.
We can hate each other with no limits. That's like.
So anyway,
It's all the more personal.
So if you guys have an idea, if you like the idea of being on the north side of the river,
I kind of like River's idea of being in the mouth of the river.
Well, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but that was what I was thinking. Mouth of the river on a little like wave breaker island that has a castle on it, if we can swing it. But we haven't done our history rolls yet,
Right.
so all that point is moot.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, I think the north side of the river thematically is completely appropriate.
Now, who was the
Are
last
we
person
talking
to
about
roll?
the river that separates Skyreach from Kingsgrave?
Yes,
Okay.
the river that has
There
no
is a
name,
picture.
which I could not. Mike, you don't know if it has a name, does it? I looked at like Skyreach's wiki entry and it just says the river, right?
I
Doesn't
haven't
really
found a
name it.
name for it, and it's odd that I God Almighty, I looked.
It's the one thing that got past George R. R. Martin.
Is it the green blood?
No, the
No.
green blood's south, way south.
Yeah, it's the one that goes to Sunspear.
Well, the green blood is the thing that the Vaith and the Scourge feed into.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
It's not the Torrentine.
No, that's west. That's over off the Princess Pass.
Yeah, that's over by Starfall and whatnot.
But what do you think about the location, Mike?
Location, I would probably say, are we talking about where north of Ironwood, on the north side of that river, whatever we end up calling it?
Right. Something like
And
that.
I did hear someone say maybe a little island. I don't know if I would go with that, but I would say perhaps, depending on how the numbers work, a coastal settlement or maybe something a little further inland, depending on what we want to do. From an RP standpoint, how the Boneway comes out, we could always be, wardens of the Boneway there or whatever. I'm presuming there's some sort of passage over that river since the Boneway exits right, south of Ironwood.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, I'd say somewhere, along the north bank of the river.
Okay. We'll figure out the specifics later. That's fine. Based on what we roll and stuff, we can decide on that. And then that'll need to be a joint discussion between both groups because they share a town, right? So
You're right. And the only reason I suggest something about guarding the passageway or if there is a bridge at some point we decide is we don't have to have a small castle. We could always have a tower that guards the bridge and then a keep somewhere else if we have more than one,
if you
land territory.
You could. I mean, potentially, if you got 10 more defense, you could get a tower as well.
Yeah, because small castles don't come with castles. I mean, small castles don't come with towers. Excuse me. Shit.
Well, they come with towers. They're attached to them, but the towers that they talk about are like watchtowers, right?
Yeah, single 3-story, circle
like the Tower of Joy.
Yes.
There you go.
Correct. All right, so I think we've got that kind of. Any questions so far?
No, I'm ready for the historical events.
Yeah, I'm trying not to forget things that people might not know, right? So. Okay, so we're going to do historical events. So we're going to roll. So I don't know who's up on the roll. Probably it's back to Chris because you all rolled for. Yeah, because Chris rolled his 4, and then it was a 2, and then a 4 or 5. So he's back up again.
And then Walter Peck, and then no, it's back to me actually because Walter Peck was the last one. Well, no, because I rolled before. Yeah, so it's Chris. Then it moved to.
Yeah,
Rob,
it's Chris
then
again
Walter,
because
myself and Walter Peck. It's
Chris. You all
again,
rolled. You all rolled for the bump. So, okay. So what we're gonna do is so you're gonna be rolling on 6-3 that table. That's on 103. So roll 1d6, Chris.
You're shooting low, Chris. Shooting real low.
3.
That's good. That's good.
Old. Roynor invasion, pretty low.
Perfect. Sorry, my characters are both Roy and are influenced.
All right, good. Okay, so let's see. So let's whoever's up next roll 1d6, and this will be for your amount of historical events you get.
1d6 plus 1, right?
This is Rob, I believe.
Yeah, it's Rob. 1d6 plus 1, Rob. You're shooting high. Don't fuck us. You fucked us.
3. All right, so 3 events. All right. So, all right, now we're going to go to the big table. 6-4 historical events. Roll 3d6, Mr. Peck. Let's see if you get an 18 or a 3. 8.
8. Scandal. Yay.
Scandal, not good. Okay, Scandal.
Mm.
So, what we have here is on Scandal, minus 1d6 influence. Whoever's up next, roll that.
Yeah, minus 3 influence.
Alright, so that puts you at 13. So Chris is up next. So you're going to be rolling for lands, minus 1d6 lands. Okay. So that puts
Is
you at
that good?
38.
Bad?
That's good.
That's as good as it gets.
Yeah. So next is power.
Really? We're losing power too? What the fuck? Oh no, we're gaining power, right?
No, you
Nope.
lose. You lose.
No, it's
This
lost.
is completely
This
negative.
is fucking horse shit right here. I knew this shit was gonna happen.
Minus 3. So you're down to 37 on that one. Okay. Alright. We'll wait until Mike's back and then he can roll the next historical event.
Can I go ahead and roll my d6 to add to whatever number?
Or
Yeah.
you could just wait for the rest of your party. I mean,
I mean,
I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
matter. You can roll now.
Yeah, I should probably wait, to be honest.
That's fine. We can do like a 15-minute session of, 15-minute, half an hour of deciding what you guys want to do if you guys make any changes.
As if you guys needed bonuses.
Alright, I'm going to be updating your sheet here. 13 lands is 38.
Something
Power.
tells me we're gonna end up with single-digit influence.
37.
We have 5 left.
Yeah, but
Yes, but you spent influence. We will be starting with like.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
your numbers are updated, by the way. After historical event number 1. You just need a windfall to make it all better.
Not gonna happen.
You have as much chance as a windfall as anything else. It's probability 101. If it keeps up coming red, it doesn't mean it's going to be red again. That's the old roulette trick.
So is there anything that we're considered doing well on right now?
No, not really.
Well, I mean, as far as statistics, land is good, power is good, wealth is pretty good, population is good. I mean, if I compare them to their end stats, let me see if I have that just written down here. So right now your defense is way higher, your influence is way lower, your lands are a little lower, your law is a little higher, population's about the same, power's pretty much lower, wealth is about the same, a little higher actually. So power's lower, influence is lower, law is higher, defense is much higher. Like they only could afford a hall, right? So if you can keep your 31, you'll have a castle. They'll only have a hall.
Walter Peck must have fell in.
No, he did a BRB. He probably a baby, you know.
Oh yeah, he got babied, but I was making a funny, as in
Oh.
he fell in the toilet.
Gotcha.
Ah.
I thought it was actually pretty funny. There's no need for sarcasm.
With the defense of 30, the group has enough resources to invest in a small castle. Chris points out that they have have a lot of land and investing in all their defenses into one small castle. Blah, 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 blah. I just wanted to say it because I saw my name. Of course, it probably goes on to say Chris completely fucked over his group, and now, they basically sell fish in the corner.
Okay, Christopher Walken, calm down.
Has to be fish jerky.
Talking in third person.
I'm tired, so okay. Take your word for it.
Well, you said your own name twice, man.
Just don't roll the doom. That's all I suggest.
Roll the doom, got
I feel like that sounds like it should be all 2d6s.
It is.
It is all
Yeah,
2d
okay.
minus 2d6s.
It definitely is.
So, like, if we just get 0 influence, can we just, like, nigger house and play a bunch of bandits?
That's basically what it would be. You would just have a very big tract of land, just nobody would give a shit about you. Madness is interesting. It's 6. It's plus 6 minus 2d6. So it's like randomness. Every single one is like that. That's interesting.
I just hate that they got fucking 5 events and we have the better fucking thing and we rolled a fucking 2 and got a god, that's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What's minimum?
Can we go ahead.
Good. No.
No, I was going to say something sarcastic. Something about calling us a house mulligan and doing it over again.
No.
But it's like possible to turn this all around, isn't it?
Unless we get better events.
Then you gotta do it in game. If not.
Well, that's what I meant. It's possible to turn this around in game, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
There are mechanics such as house fortune rolls, which you should go read if you're interested.
Yeah. House fortune rolls you'll be doing every month. So.
Just trying to find it out right now.
If you're looking in the PDF, press Control F and type house fortune.
All right, let's go ahead and roll. I mean, I don't think it really matters if he's rolling or not. When we get to picking stuff, it'll matter more. So let's go ahead and roll. So would be Rivers. Go ahead.
Okay. 3d6.
Yes.
6. Spicy.
Madness.
Madness.
All right, so this is going to be interesting. All right, so
Jeez.
all right, so whoever's up next, roll 2d6.
Chris, 2d6.
Roll low.
Roll low or you're going to fuck us.
6.
Nothing.
No negatives.
That'll
All right,
work.
Another one.
That'll be Rob.
It's back to me. Roll 2d6.
Nice.
Well, not really.
No.
We're gonna lose 2 more influence.
-2. Down to 11.
God, they're fucking barbarians.
Bandits, thank you.
+2.
Yeah, banned.
+2 lands.
Not bad.
Chris.
Am I aiming for high or low?
Low.
Doesn't matter, just roll.
Low. 0
Or that.
for population.
Back to me. Ah, jeez.
Nice.
Sorry, I had to go get the
-3.
baby.
No good. So I'm just they just did their historical. The next they got madness.
So I don't feel so bad about my scandal roll anymore.
Yes. So go ahead and roll 3d6, Mike. Or I'm sorry, 2d6.
This is power, and the next one's wealth. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Nice.
Ooh,
We're losing. We're
that's
losing
really
6
bad.
power.
31. All right. One more time. Go ahead, Rivers.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Oh my god. You guys. All right. Hold on. Let me update your thing.
So we're rolling max when we shouldn't be.
Yeah, this
Mhm.
is a bad time to do that.
That's shit luck right there. Yeah, for sure.
Your land went up too.
Whoa.
29. Oh man. Whew. All right, it's updated. All right, so your last event.
Down to Chris. Roll 3d6. If we get a doom, I'm just gonna kill my character. There's no point in playing.
8.
Scandal.
Oh, another scandal. Wow.
Oh man. All right.
It's close.
Starts with influence. D6. All right, -3.
So we have 8 influence now. We have 8.
Correct.
We have 8 influence.
Correct. Lands. D6. Like.
Yep. Yay.
Lands is the one that's actually doing okay. Power.
Just change around your guys' points. Like reallocate the bonuses or whatever.
No, you can't do that after the fact.
Mm-mm. -4.
Oh shit! I didn't. Fuck. I
Is
didn't
that
mean to.
D6?
I fucked that up. That's only a 1d6. I need to roll another one.
No, you don't.
Uh,
No, you don't.
It's
Yeah.
only
Oh, okay.
D6 for scandal.
Yeah, it's not D6.
so what we lose on that last one? It was
Power. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
27.
The things we need. Mhm.
All right, let me update your thing here.
Our maximum lore status is 2.
So 2 scandals and a madness.
And the madness rolls did not go your way.
Just pointing that out. Our maximum lord status is 2. We're no better than Freeman.
All right, so there's your. That's it. All right, so that's your end goal right there, right? That's all right. That's what you get to work with.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin on this. This is.
We need a small castle.
No, I mean, these numbers basically show a once prestigious house that has fallen on extremely hard times, hence why we probably have a small castle, but why our influence has gone to shit.
Yeah.
I would say just build a castle, put it on an island, and rot in our solitude.
Let's figure out what your lands are. So influence is going to be 8 still because you don't even have enough to spend anything. Okay. Law is land. So now we're at land. So this is kind of the important part, right? So, if you look at lands, obviously, starting at 107 has table 6-6, which is kind of bizarre because I don't think it's even the lowest table. I guess it is. Anyway, so on the bottom of 107 is your terrain costs. So you have a total of 39, so you have plenty of lands. So you can pick what you like.
Well, we have to make sure we buy.
Yeah.
We spend 10 lands on small town.
Correct.
So we're down to 29.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest one of our terrains is a plains with possibly, I don't know if we put road to represent the bone way or not.
I mean, I don't want to point it out, but they have a way bigger military than us, and I don't really think doing anything with the military is going to be beneficial to us.
Well, the thing about the road, maybe you just don't control any of it. That's basically what that would be.
And also, I mean, I know we said small castle. It goes back to the point is there a bridge? If so, I would highly recommend putting a tower and an engineer unit with scorpions in there.
So instead of the small castle, you would do a hall and a tower?
That's my personal opinion, because I mean we're playing from a disadvantage. So the question becomes, how do you maximize what resources we have? If we do have a bridge that goes over, have we named that river yet?
No.
So whatever that river ends up being called, if there is a bridge and we do control it, or at least have the ability to stop people from crossing it, that temporarily negates disadvantage of a military.
Well, I mean, you could have the same implements from like an island, because I'm just going to point this out for Paris, right? In the middle of the sign, there is an island for which in the 1400s through to the 1800s there was a castle, aka one of the buildings, or just a fortified building in the middle of the island, and it was in the middle of the city, in the middle of a river. And they had bridges spanning between both of those, and commerce from both sides of the city went through the fortified building in the center. So you could do the same strategy with, more defensive bonuses to those engineers with those scorpions inside of a castle. Because a small castle is a what? +6? A tower is a +3?
So you're looking basically to create the twins, except on an island.
Yeah.
Instead of having small castles on each side of the bank, you're having a
one
small
in the
castle
center.
in the center.
Mm-hmm. And because this river looks huge. I mean, if you look at it, right, it's rather large.
Isn't the river supposed to be mutual area, basically? Because isn't that in the middle of us?
Well, this is what we're doing. We're deciding what that is right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
so basically, the river is, Yes, I think the part, or at least part of you guys. I don't, and we'll talk about the details of how you guys connect, but you know, we know that they are on the south side of the river, and so somehow your towns have to connect with each other, right?
We could also take toll that way. If you look at the toll thing in Outer Strife and Prosperity.
Now, like I say, if you guys don't want to do the small town and market connecting, we can pull that stuff back. Right, we can pull that stuff back. They can go they'll get all those points back. They can reallocate it how they want. If that's what you want to do, that's up to
I'm
you guys.
fine. I mean, personally, I'm fine having the marketplace / land connection.
I
Personally, I like working at a disadvantage and finding ways to overcome it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd hate to get
thrilled if it wasn't so shitty for us, but yeah.
Well, and realize your town doesn't have to be next to your keep necessarily. It just has to be
I like
on
the
your
idea
land.
of the castle in the middle of the city, but
Well, then it can't be on an island then.
I mean that's how historically like Paris did that for hundreds of years.
I'm just saying unless you're disconnecting both. I mean, the town couldn't just be on the island. It have to, because they don't have.
That's not the point though. You could still buy an island, and you could still buy plains, and you could still buy the hamlet. The hamlet doesn't have to be on said island. The island could be very small.
That's fine. I'm just saying, you have to share if you're going to do this, right? You don't have to, but if you're going to share the town, I don't think the town can be in your castle.
I never said that. That doesn't make any sense to put a town in a castle.
Well, that's protected by you.
How I was interpreting what you were saying was basically on the island is the castle in addition to the town. That's how I was kind of interpreting what you're saying.
No,
so
that makes no sense. You don't put a. No, that doesn't
what are
make
you
any
saying?
sense.
I think where he was going was the town is on both sides of the river.
Yes, like it was normal. I never said anything about the town.
And then island in the middle with a castle on it.
Okay,
was my understanding.
And that's what I said. It does. That's what I was saying.
Drawn an example. And then there's like city on either side.
Sorry, I'm doing math here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
Right. So your castle's in the middle of the city.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there would be obviously this is stand-in for like a river delta where there's like.
I'd be fine with that.
Little like land, like little tiny little islands out in the mouth that
we can just
act like sandbars.
Like Walter Peck was saying, it's like the twins essentially.
Reverse twins, but yeah.
Right, yes. It's the singleton.
The singleton. the castle's called the Only Child or something like that. I don't know.
The orphan.
Oh, the orphan! Oh, that's so cool! Yeah, because it's not vested on either side of the two parents, right?
I would say that maybe long ago there used to be other castles in the similar vicinity, and they like crumbled and faltered, and so he's the orphan now, something like that.
It's
That's
too bad.
Really cool.
What was the second Romancing the Stone movie called? Jewel of the Nile?
Yep.
Yeah, Jewel of the Nile.
Jewel of the Wile.
Yeah, wrong river though. Damn.
It is the wrong river, but whatever this river's name is, Jewel of the whatever, or the Orphan of the.
Or a lot of things have, especially in Dorne, a lot of things have two names. They have an official name, and they have, like, the Boneway is actually the Stoneway, right? The Princess Pass has a nickname too, which I don't recall off the top of my head, but yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, and we could just literally take a unit of scorpions and be like, no, fuck any army that tries to attack us. If that's what you're looking for number crunch wise there, Mike.
I'm just doing the math because we have, 39 land, or is it 40? 39.
39,
So
'cause
we have to pay 10 for a small town.
Mm-hmm.
It
10
takes
for
it
an
down to 29. 10 for an island, so it takes it down to 19.
19.
Only 5 for the
So-
small oh, yeah, never mind.
Cavalry route from earlier, we're going to need a plains and a grassland, so that's 6.
You need both. You can't take grasslands in Dorne, can you?
Well, the certain parts of the mountain region have, how do I describe
Well,
it?
in the book, yeah.
Greener
In the,
pasture, if you're...
I don't think you need both for the building for the cavalry thing.
You do. I will read it verbatim for you. Where did it go? Plains or hills with grassland and no community larger than a hamlet. So basically, we'd have to have a second terrain that you could say it's someone who understands geology better than me, like the grasslands or valleys at the base of mountains.
See, that defeats it though, because we can't take it anyway because the small town.
Well, you can divide territories.
Yeah, you can divide territories. Mm-hmm.
Like, so you have terrain. So you set up different terrain.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Whereas call them what you will. So you could have
to get
like
a hamlet?
No, you can't have anything larger than a hamlet. So you could have a hamlet. Pretty much nothing more than a hamlet.
Yeah,
so you would set up basically province 1 would be the Rhode Island small town, and then province 2 would be, if we wanted to continue with the Boneway theme, Rhode plains with grassland, basically representing some sort of fertile valley or bottom of the mountainside where our horse husbandry can be set up.
The only problem I have with that is that Dorne, you can't get grasslands.
Let's see. Okay, you can get coast, community, island, road, ruin, water. You cannot get grassland, that's correct.
Not to throw a wrench in the plan, but you can't get it. Which doesn't make any sense because Dornish Sandsteed should have a different mechanic, but, it's neither here or there.
What's the what's the cost for that wealth, or for that holding?
For the holding for the horse husbandry is 10 wealth.
It's pretty expensive, yeah.
A requirement, and 10 to get to the warhorse herds. It's an additional 5 wealth. So 15 wealth gets you the plains or hills with grassland and no community larger than the hamlet. Is the requirements.
How can I do this fairly? Swamp, what do you think about this, since you're on the other side, just to make sure this is fair? If I allowed them to take it without grassland but increase the cost, do you think that would be fair?
I don't see why not. It basically just represents it being a little more difficult to maintain.
Yeah, but that's a lot of stuff for one thing. Like, a lot of stuff for one thing. Man.
What about making
it
benefit less? Like, I don't know what it does, so I don't know if that's possible. But
It basically lets them buy cavalry at a discount. That's the general gist of it.
Well, what's the discount?
It's significant. I don't know. I'd have to look.
The horse husbandry increases your house fortune rolls by 1.
Okay.
The upgrade to
I see.
war horses reduces the power cost of a cavalry unit by 2. So
Yeah,
the base cost of a... Go ahead.
The only argument I have against this is they have a plus 12 to House Fortune rules.
Here's my first question: are they using out of prosperity?
Yes, they are.
They use the mine.
Are you using the stacking bonus where the plus 12 is actually just plus 2d6 to counter those insane stacking bonuses? Do you know what I'm referring to?
That was just, yeah, I know what you're referring to. I was just adding it up as per normal because I didn't know whether Tet was using either rule. But yeah, it does get a little insane, especially when they have, base 2D or 12 House Fortune rules.
My question would be then, what would you see as a good expenditure of wealth, or what holdings would you want to invest into? Because I feel like we're going to be permanently playing catch up just based on.
We definitely are.
So where do you see us maximizing like our?
That's the problem. I don't like. I like the idea of having the horse husbandry. I just don't know if I can get behind spending even more money on it. You know what I mean? Because like we're kind of in the dumps already.
So back to the what River said earlier. Not trying to say what you guys should do, but we do have a pretty big army. So it was a couple cavalry. I mean, it would matter, but
I mean, they have a fucking huge army. They have 46 power that they just spent on getting a lot of army.
I guess I haven't logged into the Blades to see what their army was, so I can't.
I can, or if somebody.
I have it up. I can read it.
Yeah, just go ahead and read it.
Yeah, so a trained warship, personal guard veteran, archers trained, cavalry trained, infantry trained, and a green garrison.
You see my point here? You see my point?
One engineer unit with scorpions and 3 cavalry units with the discount would defeat that army.
Yeah. It depends though. How much are we spending on training and stuff like that?
Well, that depends.
Nice
on
thing.
What you're,
nice thing with cavalry. Let's just kind of like walk this out. Just to
I was going over how, like I said earlier, cavalry is infinitely better than any other troops.
And you just do trained. So what are their 3 stats? They are agility, animal handling, fighting. You put 2 points into fighting, 1 into animal handling, and you give them 1 point of wealth into their weapon upgrades. So I think that's animal handling plus 5 for damage, giving them a damage of 9. So what do? You order them to charge. If you have a individual attached to it, their dice for a charge would be 5d6, keep 3, or excuse me, keep 4. So you take 19. Let's remember the unit combat defense is fairly low in most of these. Any unit that suffers more than double its health and damage is automatically destroyed.
It should be 6.
If you have a high...
Their defense.
What's that? Did you say 6?
Yeah, it should be. Because it's agility, awareness, and athletics plus... Yeah, that's it. So 6.
Yeah. So let me scroll back down to here. So our base unit cost, if we got that discount, would be 3, and then a trained unit is additional 3, so that's 6. That is 1 point less. Let me see where that goes. That's 1 point less than a trained infantry unit. And let me scroll all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the merit in it. It's just like adding more cost to it is the problem I would have with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you get instead? Ask yourselves that.
Ooh, see, that's the problem I run into. Like, Rob, do you have any ideas? Walter Peck, or Mike, excuse me.
That's just it. I mean, where do you spend that money? Or, you go the other way. Okay, we're at such a disadvantage in terms of units. Do we go the more sneaky route? I personally am a fan of veteran criminal units. Why? Because they have fighting, stealth, and endurance. Not many units have high awareness rolls, so they can't really defeat the passive stealth of veterans, and we're in very mountainous terrain that lends itself to ambushes. And you're right back to how much damage do you do on that.
That's what I was trying to point out with like the intercity combat as well, with criminals and guerrillas and shit like that as well. Like I was saying to Rob earlier, like that's something you could take advantage of as well.
It would
Here
be
was my question
Yeah, go ahead.
about warships. So can they fire from the water like to onto ground troops, like people there?
They have a same range as archers, if I'm not mistaken, so 200 yards.
And then they could also hold like a cavalry unit or a.
You can transport them, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the way I do it is I don't think there's actually rules for it, but you can usually transport 5 units per warship unit, which is 5 ships. So
the whole landing mechanics, there are none. So I mean, it's all about what the GM considers.
Yeah, there are no landing mechanics. But I mean, I'd be okay with the horse like thing, because that lines up with what Rob really wanted to play his character quite well. You know, like have really low. Well, our law is actually pretty high, but
it would be +2 for each like total. So so if you took the first one, that would be 12. You took the second one, would be a total of 17.
Yeah, because I don't think Out of Strife and Prosperity actually took into account that, you know, Dornish Sandsteeds are different horses completely. Yeah. That's my only problem with it. I mean, let me look at the Dornish Sandsteed in the book, the actual stats.
I'm trying to be as fair as possible, so.
I know it's just my vote, but I personally vote we go with the whole cavalry theme, because I just...
That's what I'm fine with it. I'm not saying no.
No, I know. It's just we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. We're literally...
Well,
we
and
don't have
thematically for Dorne, it's so spot on, too.
Especially where you are.
Right.
Like, my argument is that I don't feel like we should have to pay more for a horse herd, or rather that's that animal that like I could get that we probably should pay something, right? But I just don't want to pay too much.
You're
is what I'm
literally
saying,
paying
because
2
like
wealth more total.
So instead of 15 wealth, it's 17 wealth.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was that small. It's just that, like, I don't know, different horses, different mechanics. It just,
If I'll tell you,
for
if Swamp Donkey wants to let you guys take it at base cost, that's fine.
So, I'm not trying to argue for an advantage. I want to make it fair.
I want to be impartial, right? So it's hard for me to say you can do something that is technically against the rules, even though it makes sense, and I agree it makes sense, right? So this is the best way I know how to.
It's actually exactly what I wanted to do, but my people didn't want to do it. So I'm totally cool with you guys doing it and whooping our asses with it, because it'll show them that they should have got cavalry instead of warship.
I knew I liked him.
I tried to tell them that we needed cavalry.
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm a recent cavalry convert too.
They're like, no, we need infantry and warship.
I've been saying this for a while now about this system. I highly put value on the cav units in the warfare system, because
I totally agree.
The lance weapon in this game
is devastating.
So insane with the amount of damage it does.
And I totally agree with you guys. I think that you should do it. It sucks that you get to do it in such a good way, though, which kind of sucks.
See, the thing is, it's not a good way, because we're still at a massive advantage or disadvantage. We have 8 influence. 8. You know what that means? We can't take more than 2 status or 3 status. No, 2 status. Yeah.
I misinterpreted. I thought you could take more status, but you just can't roll than more that dice.
No, actually, Rivers, that's wrong, because the minimum status is 3.
Lord has to be a 3.
Yeah. Minimum status is 3.
No, I mean, it says, like, in the book, literally in the book, it says maximum.
But the rules of this
too.
particular campaign are the...
No, it's not the campaign. It's the rules.
Oh.
And look at the influence table. Hold on. The one where you buy influence. Where is it?
Well, I mean, that might be a contradiction. I mean, books have those, but that's what it says in the table. Like,
Okay.
I mean, I literally just copied and pasted what I put into Roll20
Heirs.
from the book.
Hold on. Okay. Well, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Okay. Heirs, page 107. Look at the table. Look at the asterisk. Minimum status 3. Status 2 does not cost an influence investment, right? So if you take that into consideration, and knowing that your firstborn is -1, then the Lord, you know, let me look back here.
I thought you had to spend 20. Wait, no, never mind.
No, everybody begins with 2.
No, I meant for what he's talking to have a firstborn. I thought you had to spend 20
Well, you
influence.
do.
But that's
It's like I say, you don't. It's not that you don't have sons. It's just that they remember the status bump that I was talking about.
right. Yeah, they won't get the status bump.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Oh no. All right. What page is that, Rivers?
It is on page 100.
I've never had this be this low, so I'll get to look at it.
Yay, we set a precedent.
It's what it says. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm just fucking confused because it says your maximum lord status is 2.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and the funny thing is, if you look at influence holdings, and I'm probably reading it wrong, using your influence to lower the max.
See, this
Yeah, basically, if your status is above the maximum status available, you take a -1d penalty until it equals the maximum status value. So depending on how you interpret things, like, and there's a different game that Tet was playing and I'm still playing. Like, if I have a status 4, I inherited a town where my influence, just like this game, is super low. So my maximum status can only be 3. So whenever I do a status roll in relations to holding influence or holding gains in the monthly status test, I only can keep 3 dice. But for damage purposes, quote unquote damage in intrigues, I still have a status of 4. So I can't remember if that's charm or which, what damage stat that is in an intrigue, but I can still have a status of 4. It's just when it comes to rolling for the monthly basis or every 3 months, your maximum status is capped in accordance to what your influence level is. And I really explained that poorly, but
Song of Ice and Fire. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say that the fact that you're doing the idea I wanted to do and I want it to work, I totally think you should be able to do it. And B, our house is like, we outrolled you guys by a fucking mile. So I totally think that it should be. That's like what you guys are. I'm cool with that.
Well, the way I'm getting this image of this house is that it's a like fallen house that
Yeah,
is.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's literally they were once grand. They went down into like banditry, and that's all they are. Well, not even that. They just rob from other people. Like
basically,
essentially
our history goes scandal, madness, scandal. So the scandal was we kept sleeping with our brothers and sisters, which led to some crazy offspring like Charles II in Spain. Charles II in Spain. And we got that shit together, but then they caught us fucking our sisters again.
Hey. It's if you keep it in the family. I mean, the Targaryens had it right?
This is Hatfield McCoy.
Yeah, burn them all.
All right, so here's the thing about the influence holding. This only applies to when you spend influence, right? That's the way I'm seeing this. You can reduce your family's influence to modify the outcomes of your house fortune draw, which you can. You can spend whatever influence you have left over to modify your house fortune draw, right? But every 5 points of influence you spend, you can add 1d6 to your house fortune rolls. If reducing your influence would lower your maximum status, which, right? So say you go from 11 to a 7. That's what it's saying, right? And then you look at that table, right? So basically a lord has a status of 3. Then you lower it below a 10. Now his has a maximum status of 2. So now you have a problem, right? That's what that's talking about. Does that make are you in agreement? I think it's a little different than what we were talking about earlier.
So so I guess here's my question. What's the difference between them having an influence of 8 and us having an influence of 25? Other than the fact that we spent the 20.
So that doesn't matter. So basically, if you have an influence of 25, right? Basically your maximum lord status is 4.
Right.
Now they have an influence of 7. So their maximum house
It's
status
2.
is 2.
So that's house status, not like individual character status?
No, that's your lord's maximum status. But here's the question. When you spend for heirs, does that lower into your influence table? You see what I'm saying? So say for instance I am say in house 1's situation, you started with, I don't know what influence off the top of my head.
25.
You started with 25 and you spent 20. So that puts you at 5. So now are you at actually more maximum lord status 2 and then we have this situation here? I think maybe so.
See, that's what I want to know, because we wouldn't do that if that's the case.
Understood. And I would. That's fine.
And the way you explained it the first time, that's not how it was, because that would be a waste of the 20. All you get for that is a bump to your lord status. But if your lord status is only a 2, you might as well just give yourself a 2 status, right? Because
it would be basically your lord status would be a 4, but basically when you do influence rolls, for every 5 points of influence you spend, you can do 1d6. If reducing your influence would lower, so I assume that's the same here. So each character would take a minus 1d to status test for each rank they are above the maximum, so they would take minus 2d in your case. That's what I'm seeing.
So the thing is if you looked at because influence, your total influence, like your value should never change. It's if you have available influence to spend. It's like how I would equate it to Pendragon in the sense that you can spend assets, but your total target number doesn't go down.
Yeah, like we have 45 land and we spent 42, but we still have 45
land.
So same for influence. We might have our influence spread out with our heir, but we still have.
That's how the game is supposed to be, or the influence system is supposed to be taken.
See, that's how we understood it.
Yeah, I don't know. The reason I don't know about that is because what this says, right? It says you can reserve influence for use in an expendable resource, right? So, and that's what you do with leftover stuff. For every 5 influence you spend, you get 1d6 for your House Fortune roll. If reducing your influence would ever lower the maximum status, which is that table, such characters take minus 1d to status. So that tells me it's an expendable resource from your maximum.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. We'll look at this later. It's not that important for now, honestly. Because that you can't buy anything with influence anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we can figure that out on our little get-together whenever we make the final changes to ours.
That's fine. All right. Everybody okay with just skipping that for now?
Works for me.
Okay. So we're back to land still, right? So here's what I understand you guys want to do. Small town. It looks like a coast. I guess actually you technically don't need coast for an island. That's weird, but
nope.
Okay. Okay. So you would take small town, island. That's 20. Right?
We have 9 more, I think.
And then 9 more to figure out whatever else.
Their lane's 19 or 39, so.
Yeah, your total land was 39, so you would have 19 after an island without anything else that Walter was talking about.
Well, we need to roll a road, right?
If you want, that would
No,
be
we need it
part of the boneway for what?
for the thingy.
Yeah, what do you
Well, I
need
was-
for the husbandry?
For the husbandry, we needed hills or plains and grasslands.
I think you need hills
Uh,
and plains, right? So you need a
No, I
terrain.
think
No, it was hills
Oh,
or plains and grassland.
Okay, so plains. So you would take plains. So basically, the way I'll do this is I won't.
Could we
You
just
know.
take plains and hills and then have the grasslands be the ore, right? Because that doesn't make any sense. Because
Well,
you couldn't get that anywhere other than the Riverlands.
What I actually was gonna do, instead of having well 2, it makes more sense to me to do it in lands. So, so grasslands is what? Where is it? Grasslands is 1. So, and he actually said, I mean, no, Swamp said you could do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So that's fine. So,
Yeah, do it to it.
yeah. So plains. You guys tell me. I'm just trying to understand what you guys want to do, trying to make it work statistically. So.
all right. Let me at the table here.
Oh boy.
You have 19 left, right? What do you think, Mike? What is the?
I think he's changing a poopy
He
diaper.
went to change a diaper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
Yeah.
plains.
Oh, we have plains already, don't we?
No, no
Equated
one's.
into that.
I mean, I can write it down, but I haven't written it down yet. You have
Okay, well, add
19 without
plains.
planes. Okay, so you have 14 left then.
Do we want to do hills as well, or nah?
Well, let's look what you need for animal husbandry first. So you need plains, grasslands. Don't worry about. What else? No
Okay,
hamlet.
requirements. Right. So
you need a new terrain type. That's the plains, right?
right.
For the let's look at the
And then-
upgrades. It needs
Right. What was the
Warhorse
horse
herds.
thing? Yeah.
We don't need anything specifically. Um,
14 left. So if you took hills, that would put you at 7. If you took road, that puts you at 2. And then you could take, well, at that you'd probably be exhausted if you wanted that. Or you could not take hills. You could take a road. You could take a river. You could take a coast. Basically, it's like, do you really want those hills or not? And what do you need them for? Do you want a mine?
know-
Do you want, I mean...
I don't think a mine suits these people.
Because basically, I would think basically most of your influence is coming from the island and then onto the coast, right? So you figure out how far from the coast are you actually going. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it, right?
See, I was thinking more like our influence comes from the island and the end of the boneway.
Yeah, that's. Did I say it the other way? I meant from the island inland, I guess is the.
Could we buy ruins instead?
What?
Yeah. I mean, you just what for? Just get.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is that we could buy plains and hills, right?
You could.
With a ruin, right? And that covers road as well, right? Or is that thrown out?
No, so plains. So you are at 25, and your total limit was so that's 14. So if you bought hills, you'd be at 7. If you bought a road, you'd be at 2. So you couldn't buy
couldn't buy
anything
road.
else.
You could buy a stream, but
You could buy a stream. Yeah, that's
nah.
true.
Well, we
No.
don't really need the hills for anything.
Yeah, I'm not,
What did
unless you
want
want
runes
to.
for?
The ruins give you access to pretty cool
Do you guys
buildings
have
later
river?
on.
They
No,
do not
we
need
don't.
it.
We don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, I was just curious because we did, so I didn't know if we had like because only one river. So
Yeah, you guys would control the river completely if they don't take it, essentially, because they're more like the
right,
outs.
banditry.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm just saying they have an island, they have a bridge going, or their island is in the middle of the river, right? That correct in the delta of the river?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
what-
Yeah,
that's what I was
basically, our first territory that has our castle or our main establishment is what? A small town that we pay a half for,
Mhm.
river, island, road.
Yeah. Do you want so?
Am
so
I missing something?
You're missing plains.
That's the
Plains,
second holding. Though.
So right now you have small town island, then you have plains, which is your second territory, right? So you can do your husbandry on there, and then what else, right? That's the question. At this point, you have 14 left. I'm looking at the numbers, and if I say, I mean, if you want any more territory, it's going to gobble up a ton, right? Hills is going to gobble up half of that, right? So
Well, I say we go road into the first property with the town and the island.
And I apologize since I had to go away and change a
No.
diaper, but we have to have a terrain before we can start putting features on. So, like, we have to have a plains
Right.
or wetlands for the island, correct?
it doesn't say you do. That's the weird
No.
thing. Like,
No, you don't have to buy anything but the island.
Yeah, it's strange, right? If I look at, because I think the terrain okay, so if we look at terrains, hills, mountain, plains, and then there's features, right? They aren't necessarily tied together. I think really the terrain is mostly tied to wealth holdings, just like features are, right? It doesn't, unless I'm completely missing something, but I'm not. I'm not seeing it.
Domains each have two. I'm just reading this here out
Yep,
loud.
that's
Sorry. Each domains have two components: features and terrain. A feature is something found on that land, such as a town, river, woods, or coastline. A domain can have as many features as you'd like to invest. A domain without a feature is barren, being a desert, scrubland, or waste. Terrain specifically describes the lay of the land, being mountains, hilly, flat, or sunken. A domain must have terrain and only may have one type of terrain, even if it has elements of other terrain types.
Where are you at? What page?
I am on page 107.
Well, if that's
Under
the
land-
case, then we
under
need a
land.
wetlands.
Well, you can't have wetlands.
But Doran can have islands.
Yeah, that's why it didn't make any sense, right? It doesn't say.
you guys are doing Minoki's idea, by the way, that we all called him dumb for. Rivers included, I'm pretty sure.
What'd we say?
Because he was like, we should build the town and our castle on like river deltas, and we all told him that was retarded.
No, I didn't say it was retarded because I would have been okay with that because like that I was pointing out that river deltas were historically strong points
Yeah,
and
that's what
used
he
for
said.
floodplains.
Community island.
So I mean, how I read that, and you tell me how you think. Basically, we have two provinces.
Mhm.
One with the island is a wetland, so I think that'd be a stretch considering they use the neck as an example, and we're in a river desert. Though I
Well,
totally get the
I
river
raised-
delta of the Nile.
Like I said, I raised the fact that it says in the features Doran can have an island. So if you can't have an island without wetlands, that's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say that you have to. Well, here's the thing: it doesn't say you have to have a wetlands to have an island. That
Right.
is never said. It just says you have to have a terrain and a. Well, you don't have to have a feature, but you have to have a terrain at least, and then a feature. So, if that is true, then you're so you have a plane, and then so what is your island? It's got to be another plane.
I guess so. Yeah.
That's the only way. So you'd have 2 planes. That's 10. I'm just doing the math to just see how this works out, right?
Could we just instead put hills on the island and call it good, and have the plane be a plane and have the island have hills on it? That's why it's still an island and not in the actual river. I mean, is there a reason why you couldn't put a hills on an island? I did it with Ian.
No, I don't think there would be necessarily.
No, that is logical.
All right, so let me look at this for just 2 seconds. Okay, so all right, so you would have planes. Okay. Planes number 1. Okay, but here's the. Okay, so small town. Okay, all right, so planes. Your plane number 1, or you're just planes. So it has on it nothing. Okay, or I mean, it would have island, right? Island.
Right.
Or if we did hill island and plain road.
Well, the thing is, your plane, one of your planes cannot have the small town on it. So the small town has to be on the same thing as the island is on. Right?
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be on the island.
Correct. So, all right.
The island is just a feature of that terrain.
It does say it's a
Correct.
feature, yeah.
That's correct. So do you want so you want plains and hills, 2 plains? What do you guys think?
I would like to vary it up with a plain and a hill, but that's just me.
You could say, and I haven't done the math to see if this adds up. Where we keep our horses could be simply plains and grassland. That's 6 points. And you can say it's east of where the Boneway is, where our primary territory would be hills. What is that, 7 points?
Right.
7, yes.
So you have hills at 7, road at 5, small town half cost 10, island 10. So that's 10, 20, 32. Plains and grassland is 6. That's 38. That leaves us 1 point to spare.
And
You
done.
don't even
Right.
need grassland. So
Okay, so 2 points.
So you have, okay, let me get this right. Plains with, I'm sorry, hills.
For 7,
Hills for
with
7,
the road.
7. With a road, which is 5.
Yep.
With an island, which is 10.
Yep.
With a small town, which is 10.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
that's 32. All right, so then we have plains, which is 5,
Right.
which puts you at 37. And then
And I just put grassland as just cost, even though it's not technically grassland, since we're allowing that feature.
So that's, you would just put nothing on the plains. Besides your
Right.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could definitely do that.
We have that open area, and we decided to use it for horse husbandry because there was no other. If you want to argue at RP, there was no other good use for it. It's basically used for livestock, and we upgraded from livestock to horses. We stopped racing sheep because we got caught fucking them, hence scandal number 1.
Can't believe you're right.
We were bad.
Oh my god.
Oh god. All right, so that's cool.
Cannot believe it.
That works for me. Makes sense. Are we good with lands?
I think so.
It only took us forever.
Yeah, that's okay though. All right.
Yeah.
So, all right. So those are your 2 domains. I just say domain number 1 and domain number 2 for now. Domain number 1. So start thinking about your power.
Cavalry.
Yeah. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and do your wealth first, since that'll
Yeah.
that'll determine how much you can buy, right? Because okay, so you start with wealth of 29, and okay, so 15 of that is your animal husbandry, right? Or your what is it called in the book?
Is horse husbandry with the specialty or resource war horses. Thank you.
Okay.
Horse husbandry with the improvement of war horse.
Why don't we get rare bloodline too? Because it would just make it better.
What does that do?
It resource gain, influence +1, resource loss, mitigation, wealth +1. That is 5 wealth. I'm looking for.
Because that'll put you up at 20 total, and that'll leave you 9.
Because there's not much you can get for 5 wealth. In fact, I don't think there's anything you can get for 5 wealth. Oh, you could get a fishery.
Yeah, there's some things.
Fishery, we are on a river, so that does make sense.
We don't have the
But
terrain.
you don't have the terrain.
You could do a stream, though. You could add a stream if you wanted.
Yeah.
Or 2 streams. So a small tributary off that river that you control.
Where our fish farm is.
Yeah. I don't know what fishery, if it says you can use a stream to.
I don't know. I think we
I
should.
think it said river and coast.
No, we have a road, right?
You do? Mm-hmm.
Just get a toll instead of a fishery.
True.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Because holdings include a bridge, ferry, or mountain pass. We have an island that people have to walk to and fro from. Boom, toll.
But I thought the road was actually part of the Boneway, which you could put the toll there too. That's fine. But,
Right. That's what I was saying.
But it made sense RP wise that the
Yep.
toll would be on the bridge actually. But
It does. I agree with that. So okay. So are you going with the other house husbandry upgrade?
We were just asking what can we get for 5. We haven't decided on that. Fishery, the requirement for a fishery, coast, island, river, or lake.
Well, you can island. You have an
So
island.
we have an island. I'm just saying we could get it. It increases. All it does is increase house fortune by 1.
What is the toll?
The toll is it increases the gains.
Gains of law and wealth.
Wealth is pretty good.
Yeah, I'd rather have a toll.
It makes sense, kind of.
Well, thematically, toll is awesome.
Yeah.
To cross by a bridge, you're gonna have to pay the toll.
Unless you.
And it makes sense.
None shall pass.
We gotta have tolls to
So,
maintain law and order.
Does the bridge split the town though?
No.
I would think so, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Because
which bridge?
You're
one
gonna
side of the
charge a
town is
toll
ours.
in our town.
Well,
Like
from
all our
them,
town?
their people go. If they could charge a toll for you coming into their part of the town, yes.
Gotcha.
The toll is just thematic. It's how we gain money. It wouldn't affect you in the slightest.
Mm-mm.
It could be an abstraction
I
too. It doesn't
understand.
necessarily mean the market. It could represent the section of Boneway that we patrol or are responsible for.
Could be.
Keep those faith militant out.
Mm-hmm. Faith militant and grayscale. How are you going to keep the grayscale out? Is the question.
Fire.
We have a castle and an island.
Hey, Dorn did good with the spring sickness. For those who know Dunk and Egg.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you just guys let me know what you want to do.
Let's see here. I would say the horse husbandry and the war herds is 15. The tolls is 5, bringing it up to 20.
Look at the rare breed for the horse husbandry.
Second.
Because
Yeah,
horse
I agree.
husbandry and more horses is 15, right?
It bumps our influence up by 1,
I think it's for
and a
gains, right?
resource loss mitigation. Yeah.
Yeah. So if any time, so what that means is, people who don't know, once you roll House Fortunes, some of them can say increase your influence or increase whatever, or that's your pick. A lot of them do. And so I'm guessing if it says influence plus 1, if you pick influence, you get 2, or whatever you roll plus you get an additional 1. Or it just gives you 1 flat. I'd have to read it. I'm not looking at it.
Right. I'm not sure how to read it either, but yeah, I follow you.
Rare Bloodline gives you +1 influence, and mitigation just means that in House Fortune rolls, or if you lose something per thing, it just you don't lose that 1 wealth. Like, it prevents you from losing 1 wealth.
House Fortune
Before-
rolls will be.
Before we decide on some wealth holdings, how equipped do we want our military units?
I'm gonna say fucking really equipped.
Well, you're
Because
gonna have very many of them.
Yeah, if we're going to have...
If we're
Yeah.
gonna do that, we would probably, if we are on board with equipping both armor and weapon damage, and giving an engineer unit a Scorpion.
Yeah, how much does a Scorpion cost?
Expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Might be something we buy later on.
And also keep in mind there is other, so I did some house rules too for some of you who haven't seen it. So there are going to be 2 other actions at the end of the sessions. One's a character action, which is not important for this, but another one is called an NPC action. So you're going to have what's called important NPCs. And so those are NPCs that can go and do things for you at the end of the month. And basically, how you figure out your starting important NPCs is you take your leftover wealth and you roll a d6 for each one. So keep that in mind too. It's not that big a deal, but.
By the way, Scorpion only costs 1 wealth.
No, there you go.
Oh yeah, well then we'll just put garrison unit and Scorpion inside the castle and then become
I think you
unstoppable.
need engineers though, don't you? For Scorpion.
You do, but garrison
You do
units
need
and
engineers. Do you even
means
need a
we're not-
garrison unit?
Yeah, you do, because you don't have anybody garrisoning it, which means anybody can just walk into the castle. Because we don't have units to fight against something, then it mechanically they just walk right in.
Do you want garrison or archers?
Well, see, there aren't structures like walls. What it gives you is just static 6 defense. So they just straight up just attack you. There is no changing it.
I do understand that. My only question would be, since we're fighting at the defensive, do we want to pepper them with arrows before they get there?
Yeah, I'd be fine with it. It's just that we need to manage our money, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, like for the engineers, I wouldn't give them any armor or weapon upgrades. I'd just hand them a Scorpion and put all 3 points if we got them trained into warfare, because what do we want them good for? We want them using them siege weapons.
Right.
I would give them 2 Scorpions before I gave them an armor or weapon upgrade. So let's see here. That would be 5 points if I'm doing this off the top of my head without looking at the book. 5 points for a trained garrison or a trained engineer.
Engineer, I'm looking at it right now, so I can tell you for sure. 2. Yep, 5 for engineer.
And I think a garrison would probably be the same, and an archer would be 6.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So that would give us 11, or it'd give us 10 or 11, leaving us 17 or 16, and it would cost 6 points per trained cavalry unit.
And so you get a -2 for each one, right? Is that correct?
That's with that bonus in there.
Right.
That's a base cost of
Correct.
3, a trained of 3, so 6.
Mhm.
So you could go
That's correct.
engineer at 5, and then 18 for 3 cavalry, leaving a remainder of 4.
Could we do like poor personal guard or something, or
You
just
could do
more
green
garrison?
archers, can't you? No, you could do green garrison, I think. Let me actually get over to my PDF and I'll tell you.
Green garrison is 3.
That's
What about
almost useless though.
what about green archer?
Green archer's 4.
So 18 plus 4 plus 5 is 27? Or I just did my math wrong.
Okay,
Or
so
did I?
what are you looking for? You're a green archer 4.
Green archer is 4, 18 for 3 trained
22.
cavalry,
22.
and 5 for the trained engineer. That's 27 on the nose.
Mhm.
Yes, any green unit is pretty useless. All they have to do is survive their first battle,
That's
and
true.
hopefully they get up there.
Level up.
You add a unit like the character I'm kind of envisioning. You put 1 point into marksmanship, that gives them 3d6. You add my character, that gives them 4d6. That gives them a little bit more punch if you do solely like the ranged upgrade, which I think is agility plus 3. So that gives them a damage base of 5 with 4d6 against, would they have a combat defense of 6? So I like those odds for a green unit for
Yeah,
archer.
Plus they're not being
Fucking-
attacked directly.
Yep, and they got the bonus of the small castle for their combat defense, giving them slightly more survivability.
Yeah, combat defense of like 12 on warfare units is pretty nasty.
Yes, it is. It very
Yeah,
much is.
cavalry units, if you spend the 2 points to increase both their armor and their weapons, we got 3 of them, that's 6 points. 1 for a ranged deck is 7 wealth for the archers, 1 for a scorpion is another 1, so how much wealth is that? 6, 7, 8. So we can do 20 wealth in estate holdings and 8 in upgrades for our units, leaving us 1 wealth left over.
Yeah, we'll have 1 wealth left over.
Now that will limit our pool of
Yeah.
NPCs.
Yeah.
And
So,
once again, they killed it with the roll. They've got 11, I think.
yeah. So just to give you a gist of what they can do, you can basically send them out to do anything you want at the end of a month. So basically, you can say, I want you to go. If you're thinking of statistical, I want you to go increase wealth, right? So that person, I would say, well, how are you going to do that? And you give me a role play scenario of how he's going to do it, and then I say, okay, go roll knowledge for this character, and they say, okay, and then so if they succeed, his wealth goes up, stuff like that. Or you can do
Jesus, they
go-
get 11 of those actions?
no, they don't get 11 of those actions. They get 11 pool of people to choose from to do things. So each player can send 1 NPC to do things, right? And you have to have enough NPCs to field all those requests.
And what was with the secondary NPC? So there's
not a secondary NPC. So
Those are
okay,
secondary
was-
characters.
I'm sorry. Okay, so
there's
there's
yeah,
a primary
that's
character, secondary character, important NPCs, unimportant NPCs.
right.
Unimportant NPCs are basically just Johns, right? So basically they're, John the jerky salesman. Now, at any time you can send those say for instance, the reason I did this for this. If you have 1 wealth left over and you roll 2, well, you don't have enough important NPCs to field all the players going and telling, their NPCs to go do something at the end of the month. So you have to pick an unimportant NPC. They just take penalties to the rolls. and that's basically it. So
You
I mean,
can, if we want to get a few more of those people, we can get rid of the the armor on, say, the cavalry. I mean, the armor, you would sacrifice an armor rating of 5 with a penalty of -3 instead of, having a 9 -5. Stick with the fighting damage increase and go with offense is the best defense.
and so here's another thing, right? Wealth, you can spend wealth, right, on characters. So for instance, one thing we know from playing these games is nobody has ever had barding, and that's a problem because you hit a horse, and they're probably going to go flying unless your animal handling is pretty good. So basically, you can use that wealth. You'll spend it because it's 1 to 200, right? On barding, on better equipment, on you can do that kind of thing. So having wealth left over is a good thing. Just saying.
Well, somewhere I think I read that you can't bard sand steeds anyway.
No, you can't.
Okay.
The heat and so forth that in Dorn horses can't be barded.
That's fine.
I'll have to confirm that, but just tossing that out there.
And that's fine too. But you don't have to just have sand steeds either.
Well, but I think even regular horses in the heat of Dorn, I'll have to look up the barding thing again. But
okay, that might be the case, but that's fine. Either way, you can buy Castle Forge steel. I mean, these things.
Right.
Doesn't
have to be
I've never
barded.
found the rules for that ever.
What's that?
The rules for Castle Forge steel.
It's a multiple of what it normally costs. I think it's times 10 or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think so. I think that's right. Yeah, as I recall. But yes, things like that. So I mean, and you can use it for bribes. You can, Yep. So consider that. So cavalry times 3 would be 18. And that would be what kind? Trained, right? We're talking about trained?
They're trained, but they also have upgrades to their arms and armor.
Yeah, that'll be from wealth. I'm just looking at power right now. And then you're talking about trained engineers or green engineers? He said 5, so that would be trained.
Trained, I think.
Mm-hmm. Trained engineers. 5. And then what else? Green archers.
Yeah, green archers.
Which is 4. And that's it, right? So that would, yeah, because that would be 27 on the nose. Yep, he went to grab milk. But yeah.
That
That's
doesn't
my
leave us
vote,
with
at least.
anything. That's all right, though.
What's that?
I was like, that doesn't leave us with anything, right?
Nope, it doesn't. But I mean, power.
That's fine, though.
You can't really do anything with leftover power except build more power to buy more units.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. What else do we have to spend?
The rest of your wealth.
How much do we have?
So if you so right now the only thing I have for sure that you're spent is horse husbandry and war horses. So that's 15 out of your total of 29. So you'd have 14. So yeah, and I know if you want to buy scorpions, it's 1 wealth each. If you're wanting to do weapon upgrades on the cavalry, that's going to be 3 wealth. So that's 5 wealth right there. If you want the other upgrade to your horses, that's 5, so that's 10, so that'd be too many, right? Or is that wrong? No, that would be 25 out of 29, so you have 4 left after that. So you can either keep some of that or spend it. I don't know what your plans were.
Did you equate 2 scorpions into that or 1?
Yeah, 2 scorpions would be 2 wealth, right?
Yeah.
So that's 2, and then upgrades on weapons only for all your cavalry is 3. I mean, I think at first he said 6, so let's do 6. So that's armor and weapons for your horses. Or I'm sorry, yeah, armor and weapons for your horses. So that's 8. What else? So scorpions, weapons, armor, and then the 5 for the other upgrade. That's 13. So 13 plus 15 is 28. That would leave you 1 left. So that's what he was. And then if you cut down, removed all the armor from the cavalry, that would give you 4 left over.
If we had the armor on, how much was it?
It would leave you with 1 wealth left.
Mm.
Or you could do some of them have armor and some of them not. That's fine. I'm going to keep track of units very individually because they'll be getting different, experience upgrades. A lot of them once they're in combat, their stats may change because some of them might get routed, some of them might get disorganized, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So that I will.
One of them could be like a. One of them could be like a kind of like a reserve unit, while the other 2 are kind of like the vanguards. That way, whenever so the lightly armored ones.
Yeah. Can you remove the weapons and armor from that cavalry?
Mm-hmm. So that would give you 7 more. So that would be a total of 22. So that would give you how many left? 7. Yes.
Yeah, 7. Have we bought the toll already with our wealth?
No, I haven't. That hasn't been.
Yeah. Then get the toll.
How much is that? 5.
5.
So that would give you 2 left over. Pretty sure.
And I guess we'll just keep the 2. I mean, are you guys cool with that?
So where did that leave
we
us?
can always get it later,
27. 27 out of 29.
I mean, with the cavalry, did we unarmor and take away the weapons from all of them? Is that...
Nope, just one of them.
Oh, just one of them? Then if you did just one of them, then you would have 4, and that would put you at 11 plus 15, 26. So you would have 3 left over. Yeah, you can't armor these guys and do your toll at the same time. Doesn't look like.
Yeah, that's. Well, we don't have to have the toll. We can get that later. It takes like a month to build a toll.
And
so.
yeah, and a lot of these times I will be ratcheting down a little bit every time. I don't know by what degree, but it's a little obscene right now because
I would like to have more wealth at the start to power up our characters instead of, or even just have the 4 wealth to begin with, right? Then have 3 fully armored and armed cav units. I'd rather just take the losses, or rather lose 1 cav unit being armed and have 4 wealth.
So that would take you down to 2. So that would be a total of 9 of the new expenditures. So that would be 23. Right? Or am I math wrong?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 23. So that would leave you with
6.
6. Mm-hmm. And then you could do a toll. It would leave you 1. Or you could. I don't know. It's up to you.
I'm thinking we might keep that 6. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when we keep the 6, right, we can spend 2 of it just automatically on our characters, like split the 420 gold. That would be.
Oh, it's going to be more than that. 6 is going to be. If you kept 6, that's 1,200 gold.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was saying we're going to keep 4 so we can get 4 dice for their NPC roll, right?
Uh-huh.
And we're going to get 2 gold to split amongst all of our primary and secondary characters. So
that happens after.
Gold, right?
So you'll get your full 6. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, dude, I'd be totally for that. If there's a way we could like.
Yeah, you would get your full 6, and then after that you can, in game basically, or you can do it before, but that's fine. It's after that roll though, definitely after that roll, because you can spend that at any time. You could say I want to spend 1 wealth. I mean, 1 wealth is gonna get you guys far. 200 gold. it probably will outfit you guys as much as you want. I can't. I mean,
yeah.
maybe not, but I mean, it's gonna go a long way.
Oh well, 11 gold dragons got me really far.
Yeah. Imagine having 200. I mean, divided by 4, 50 gold each. So.
Hmm.
And you can outfit your NPCs too.
That's the thing that I was going for, is that we could have really good NPCs. So I'm fine with having the 6 gold.
All right, we'll see. What are you everybody else say? We'll see what Mike says when he comes back.
It has my vote.
I sort of like it, but it sounded like Mike was really crunching some numbers on the troops. I'd like to hear his input.
What numbers?
So the question is, do you not outfit the? So okay, right now we're looking at with horse husbandry and war horses. That's 15. So that leaves you guys 14 left. So if that leaves you 14 left, the question, okay, you take 2 scorpions. We know you're going to do that, right? So that leaves you 12 left. So if you take the 5 for the upgrade for the racial seeds or whatever that one's called. So then it's even lower, right? So then if you take
15 is the horse husbandry with war horses.
Yeah, 15 with the war horses.
And then there's another upgrade, right? I don't know. This is what I've been hearing. The other upgrade is another 5, so it's 20, leaving you 9. If you take 2 away from with the scorpions, that's 7. Or I'm sorry, is that right? So 29, 7. I don't know how I got 6.
Like I said, we don't have to have that other upgrade. What it does is give us more money and more influence per turn.
Yeah. And then the other 2 would be what? What was that for? I can't even remember at this point.
What I had suggested was 15, which was the war horse and horse husbandry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had said 5, after we had kind of gone about with the other 5 wealth, we went 5 for tolls instead of for rare bloodlines. Is that what I remember?
I'd actually rather have that, but...
Yeah, so that brings us up to 20, so we're left with 9 gold dragons. We would spend just 1 scorpion, that's 1 gold dragon, bringing us to 21.
Okay.
For now, just considering how cheap they are, I would probably just do 1.
Okay.
I would do 1 for the green archers, bringing it to 22. I would spend 3 gold on the melee upgrade for the 3 cavalry units, bringing up to 25, leaving us a remainder of 4.
Could we get armor upgrades for our garrison?
You don't have a garrison.
We don't have a garrison unless we either have a garrison or archers, so that becomes the question. Our police for the small castle garrison or archers?
Archers are
and remember,
you never leave.
engineers fight as a melee unit.
That is true. I honestly would.
I'm inclined to go with the archers.
I'm inclined to go with the archers as well.
Because my train of thought on that, and I'm open to other people's opinions, is to keep people off the bridges. We basically, how I envision it is, we have a northern bridge and a southern bridge connecting to this island. Keep people off the bridges. How do we do that? With arrows and scorpion bolts.
Yeah, scorpions can fuck people up pretty good.
Scorpions have the highest range in the game. The same range, if memory serves, as the trebuchet and catapults. And they ignore armor, so...
Not to mention, they're fucking terrifying in real life. They used to build fucking, telephone pole launching scorpions.
And a unupgraded armor infantry unit can move, per order, 60 yards.
Well, he can sprint,
so if they get ordered... Okay, and that's what, 90?
It's multiplied by 4, I think, right? So 120.
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I think a sprint is times 4.
I don't know about warfare units, but basically you'd be able to hit them once or twice.
Which would, if you hit them, they would be demolished.
They have an armor. Their max armor upgrade is 4. So if you hit them once or twice, they're probably either going to have 9 health or 12 health. You're probably going to get them at least disorganized, if not routed, within a couple volleys.
Yeah, the only problem is if they get to the walls with troops, right? If they get to the walls with troops, then we would get swamped really easily.
Pun intended.
That's where you go into skirmish mode and you hope you got those badass melee and range characters.
Oh, I have a very good melee character, but he's not really a
and remember, you'll be able to deploy your important NPCs into combat too, in skirmish and warfare, if they have those stats.
And what Tet wants to do too, if they're scaling the walls and we break it down into single combat, or into the 10 rounds of combat that's allowed in your standard warfare turn, I mean, a lot can happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's absurd abuse of the rules, but if you detach an individual from a unit and have him single-handedly attack somebody, he can destroy a
10th
easily.
Yeah,
like he's getting 10. So because I think it's like if one person attacks a unit, that unit gets 20, I think, to its combat defense.
Yeah, something like that.
So
but you can attack a portion, right? That's a no.
The portion, the combat defense is only like 10. I'm feeding a baby right now, so I can't alt tab over to my PDF.
No, it's not even that. If you do a portion, then what happens is you fight 10 people. You don't get. I'm pretty sure if you do the action as attack a portion of a unit, I'm almost positive that you are actually in combat with 10 people.
Whatever.
A character can attack another unit using the normal rules for attacks, as in warfare attacks. However, since a character is one against many, it's harder to fight the foes at a time. Against attacks from individual opponents, units gain plus 20 combat bonus to defense. Mm-hmm. Well, anybody that has expertise in arrows can probably smoke them pretty quickly, because let's say you roll a 28 and that beats their defense, you get 1 or 2 degrees of success. Your damage basically is applied to that unit's health. So if I have if I do 8 base damage and I get 1 degree or 2 degrees of success against a 4 armor infantry unit, if I get 2 degrees of success, that would be 16 damage. Minus 4 is 12. If they have endurance of 4, that means they're instantly been health to 0. And that's one person attacking a group of 100 people. What Tet was referring to is the attack a portion of a unit where you face just 10 men.
Yeah.
For every 10 men of the unit you defeat, the unit loses 1 point of health.
Yeah, but yeah, with range that's true, but you don't want to fight a unit in melee, because if they hit you, you're dead, basically.
It only works if you're ranged, like he said. If you're melee,
you're forgetting. Also, the castle applies to characters as well. The combat defense
in unit warfare, that's true.
Mm-hmm. So they would get.
So if like a personal, if a personal guard, attacks, if the unit attacks the individual, you'll get plus 6 to your defense. But I'm trying to remember what bonus they get attacking an individual.
No, it's like 20, I think.
It's something insanely. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, that's nuts. But either way,
it's like being attacked.
It's not
by
that big
people.
of a deal, I guess.
Yeah, but
anyway, we're just like theory crafting right now. We can get back to creating our house.
We're almost done. I mean, so we have wealth. So just you guys tell me what you want to do here. So 1 scorpion. I think that's pretty obvious. We want that. 1.
Yeah, I think that was okay where we landed with 4.
Oh yeah, the way I was talking about. So 2 units full, right? 2 units of cavalry fully armed, 1 not armed and armored, right? We have the horse husbandry. We have the upgrade to the horse husbandry for war herds. We have the
Toll.
the toll, and then we have the archers that are green, and we have the engineers with the scorpions.
All right, so okay, so toll, let me look what that would be. So toll 5. So, okay.
Warhorse 5.
Okay, so we're talking about 15, 20, 21. So that's toll, warhorse, house husbandry, and scorpion. 21. So 8 left. Green archer. So archer upgrade weapon. You're talking about, right? Doesn't matter, but
You're forgetting cost for the, or we're forgetting cost for the hamlet or small town or the marketplace as well.
oh yeah, you gotta have 10 for that.
That throws a little wrinkle.
Wait, that's 5.
I thought
actually.
you did 10 for the small town though.
The small town's lands.
You know what? I don't particularly care. They can have the fucking marketplace. They can just have it. I don't want it. It doesn't do anything for us, really. We don't have a port, so we don't benefit from it, really.
So do you even want the small town then?
We have to have it. You said we have to have it.
Well, the reason I said you had to have it in the beginning was so you could support a market, so you could be intertwined. Now, I don't really. Here's the thing, right? Okay, you have a toll. What would be the reason why anybody would come to your side of the river if you didn't have at least a small town? Now, you like I said earlier, though, you can pull out of that as long as you guys are close together.
Well, anybody coming down the Boneway has to get across the river. Has to get.
That's right. If you want to put it on the Boneway, that's correct. It's up to you guys. Really, it really is.
I mean, we can abandon the whole town and marketplace idea. It doesn't bother me at all.
I'm fine with the marketplace idea. It could give us a goal. We could keep the marketplace. I know it doesn't really benefit us in a dice way, and then use the toll as like that's like one of our like short term.
We're gonna lose money if we do that. We're gonna lose 5 whole wealth. We've been forgetting that the whole time.
Well, you could do it instead of the toll.
Get those resource gains if we like roll for that resource.
Yeah. What my suggestion is, a GM, it'd be easy. Just replace the toll with it because it's 5 because it's half. Right? Pretty sure.
Yeah, because like let's see.
And
the resources.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And the market is better than a toll. Getting that.
I'm pretty sure the toll is just direct income, because that's how it worked for the other stuff when I was doing Ian's.
For tolls, the resource gain bonus. So if you roll for that resource, you gain a law +1 and wealth +1. Marketplace is just wealth +1, and I'm presuming we have to split that, or we would not have to split that because it's specifically our house fortune roll.
Yeah, you would just both get it probably.
So we would lose the law element by going with marketplace over toll, but we can shoot to add toll to it.
Toll's not that expensive or take long at all, so it's whatever.
And that's one of the benefits of doing a toll is 1d6 months. We have a road. It only costs 5 wealth, whereas a marketplace 2d6 months, so double the time, double the cost, and
so
you actually get.
Are you looking at marketplace and strife or the core?
Strife.
Okay. And it's still just +1.
+1 wealth.
Is it whenever you roll your house fortunes, or is it?
It's when you roll for that in a house fortune roll. So let me scroll up to house fortune.
Yeah, and that's fine. It's whenever you get wealth. That's fine. It's basically
whenever you roll to gain wealth, you get that. Yeah, you get that addition.
But the thing, I guess the only difference is in there it's 2d6, but in the core it's 1d6.
That's true.
But I'm sure, are there upgrades on the marketplace and the Out of Strife? Guessing so.
Yes, there is. The specialty market and trade connections and trade routes.
Yeah. So, but like I was saying, I think you stepped away, but I'm going to lower the time to build for everything Now I don't know if it's going to be by half or something like that, but I'm gonna lower it a little bit at least for everything.
It still pretty much means that you're not going to be building a castle in this game.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to build a.
Are you? Did the other team have the mine from the core book or the Out of Strife?
Out of Strife. Yeah.
Out of Strife.
They have a basic mine. They have a basic mine.
Basic bitches.
Yep.
So that's fine. I mean, so if you replace marketplace with toll or the
other way around.
Other way around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other way around.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, and see, the nice thing is by having the small town in the marketplace, there's a lot of cheap things that we can add to our side of town to enhance our wealth. Brothels, 1d6 months, 5 wealth. Resource gain bonus, wealth +2. However, the negative is all influence resource decreases are increased further by 1. Tolls, cheap. Fishery, cheap.
So we're talking. Okay, so just to figure this out, so archer weapon upgrade, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so what after that?
So it's archer weapon upgrade, scorpion.
Yeah, I got that.
And then I suggested 3 cavalry. Did I hear 2 melee upgrades and an armor upgrade?
2 melee upgrades, 2 armor upgrades, 1 cav is just bare bones. That's what I was thinking.
You tell me. That would give, if you did that, that would give you 6 out of 29 with 3 wealth left over.
Which
3 wealth
way
gives us like a lot of gold to spend on our characters, which is nice.
600 gold and a 3d6 roll for important NPCs.
Watch us roll ones.
Which way with the cavalry leaves us 3?
2 weapons, 2 armor, bare bones for the rest.
Okay.
Let me make sure. So House Husbandry 10, War Horses 5, Marketplace 5. That's
Yep.
20.
Yep.
Scorpion 1, Archer 1,
1.
Cavalry 2 for weapons, 2 for armor, and that would give us 26.
So it comes down to, do we want 2 maxed out and 1 nothing, 3 weapons with an extra gold dragon or extra wealth in our pocket to start?
How much would weapons cost to get it on the horses then? I mean, I'd rather have more money, but...
If we want more money, then we want to do 3 melee upgrades for our cavalry, no armor upgrades, because that'll be 3 wealth. If we do the 2 decked out and 1 blank, that's 4 wealth.
Yeah, you would save 1 wealth by doing it that way.
I would save the armor for later, just because it gives us more initial flexibility with the NPCs to try and increase.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. I'd rather just ixnay on the armor and get the weapons on all and get the extra wealth.
And then
I want to know what.
Yeah, good.
I want to know what everybody else thinks, but I mean, with our NPCs going off the marketplace, do we want our initial goals to help increase with our house fortune rolls and wealth resources, like the toll, like the brothel, like the dog kennels, or, something like that?
Yeah, and your NPCs can directly affect those rolls too, right? With assists.
I honestly am, in my personal opinion, think that we're preparing for war before we've even prepared for the entire rest of the game.
Have you looked at their stats? Go look at their stats.
Yeah, I've seen their stats, but you're telling me that they're going to just run over and start attacking us the first chance they get?
Well, I was there.
I mean,
I was listening to them. I was there. I was listening to them.
Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, when the game starts, Chris has a point, right? You're not at war, right? But Who knows what's going to
Yeah,
happen?
they can't just outright attack us. I mean, Ariane is still in control, and there are still like rules and codes that they have to follow. They can't really make a move. They can do underhanded dealings. There's no doubt, but they can't just outright attack us unless
Well,
Quentin shows up from Essos.
That's kind of my point. Is it seems like we've got at least a little bit of time to kind of prepare, and kind of dig our heels in. At the very least, stabilize ourselves.
What's everybody's, I guess, short and medium term objectives for the house?
I don't know yet. I don't have my characters.
Yeah, I haven't even begun working my characters until we're basically kind of done with this.
Which I think we're more or less done.
More or less.
Well, my main character is definitely going to be the spy character, kind of, unless it's going to be an issue and go over somebody else's.
We shouldn't talk about character ideas. There's a player.
Yeah, I'll just leave so you guys can finish up though, because I'm about to get off anyway. So
Well,
Phrasing.
I think our stats are done. I don't think they're going to be changing. We rolled like dog shit, like I predicted.
So you want to do the 3 weapon on cavalry, which will give
Yeah.
you 4 left over in gold, actually.
Correct.
I think that's the way to go.
All right, so let me notate that real quick.
Now that the spy's gone, real quick, while Tet's writing some stuff down, my character concept in the broadest strokes, and I've mentioned this to Tet, the first character I ever designed for Shattered Kingdoms was the bastard son of the Lord of Ironwood. So what is it, Andrew?
I don't
Is the
remember.
current
I
lord.
would have to look.
I'd have. Long story short, basically he's the bastard of, at the time, the Lord of Ironwood, and I'm playing his son. So basically, it's the grandson of, and I just closed Ironwood wiki page. God damn it!
Why would he be in this house that went against the Ironwoods then?
Because, and I will start giving you some names in a second.
The gist is he wants to become Lord of House Ironwood.
Yeah, he does not. He has no loyalty to Ironwood because his father was banished from Ironwood. Half brother. Okay, Anders Ironwood is his half brother, who was the Lord of Ironwood. Anders' father, Ormond, the character I'm going to be playing. Anders and my original character Arturo do not like each other, and Arturo was exiled, and he returned and served House Weil being one of the loyal houses to Queen Martell.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole objective, in addition to help serving this house, is, I know this is pie in the sky, is he wants to eventually be the ruler of Ironwood. And that's
I
his
think
angle.
we should make that happen.
Why not?
The one thing though, everybody needs to realize is somebody has to play family members of this house. Either it could be secondary, it could be your secondary characters, but that's going to happen. I can't be like the Lord and the heir and the brother and say, you know what I mean? Right? You guys have to have some sort of interest, like high status type in the house.
I have an idea for like a lady of the house type character.
Okay. That works.
So that would be a status figure in the house.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's what you consider your secondary or primary character. That's just whatever. It doesn't matter.
I know that my secondary character is definitely going to be somebody combat oriented. I know that Rob was looking at a what I'm guessing a cavalry based character or something like that.
Well, spear fighter with cavalry as a secondary sort of thing. But I think we really need.
The idea of, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. But Well, what I was going to say is I think we really need at least one character that just pumps the crap out of warfare to the extent that we can.
Well, that was what I was actually going to think about, is maybe a household knight. As much as I don't want to, create
Why not be the
Survival
Lord?
again.
The Lord, or just an heir or something like that. Because, like I say, someone has to play someone in the family.
I'll play it.
Well,
but
my
the
spear guy
character's
could
meant
be in
to
the family.
Yeah, he could. He could be the heir. I mean, that's all good. I need.
I'll play it.
Good.
Now, I have another character concept, actually another character made, that's like a super healer type that I was going to use as a secondary, but I think maybe we ought to relegate her to an important NPC role, because, I mean, really all she is healing and knowledge rolls.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can do either the heir or lord, and I can also have him specialize in warfare leadership, things like that, if other people want to kind of branch away from that.
Well,
I would give you my vote for a lord / general type. I'm totally good with that.
Okay, I don't really care, just as long as it's known that not everybody can play for all their characters somebody who, is in this house. You know what I mean, right?
well, okay. Here's like an idea that I have. Just for the kind of combat character I was thinking is maybe not even the next in line, but the third in line, who would basically be kind of like the leader of maybe not necessarily the leader of the cavalry, but definitely somebody who's kind of helps coordinate with them and kind of, trains with them and is really involved with them. So because I know that we get like bonuses when we actually have
people attached.
leaders.
That's correct. Well, you're gonna have 3 cavalry units, so there's a lot to go around.
Well, that's what I was thinking is, a son, or, the second born son or whatever, someone in the family who can,
Well, actually, if you want to be the heir, Jim, that would be fine with me, because I really kind of wanted my spear guy to be some kin of the Uller family. Just sort of crazy.
That's fine.
And
That's
don't
perfectly fine.
forget there's marriage ties too, that you could say, hey, I'm the you could have Ullers being the lady of the house, right? An Uller, and that would actually, Assad's gonna come back somehow. And no.
Hey, remember his grandson is responsible for the massacre at North March.
Well, that's the kind of guy we need.
So I actually like the idea of having then be me play the heir, who is kind of the combat oriented one, who's kind of in control of at least the cavalry part of the army.
Okay, I don't know what happened to Rivers. He was typing, so he did type some ideas there. So I mean, you guys we can figure it out. I trust you guys to, talk on that message board at least. I mean, you don't have to be there all the time, but just somebody has an idea, respond to it, blah blah blah. It's all good.
I'm perfectly fine with it, but it'd be nice to have maybe ghost boards where the different houses can kind of have their own conversations without having to worry about.
It will happen. Mm-hmm. It will. I'm gonna do that. Don't worry. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have it 2 hidden forums.
Not that I don't trust them, but
no,
I don't trust them.
No, you should.
The best way to keep a man honest is to remove temptation.
Trust but verify.
I don't know. I was, like I said, I already have a kind of character made. I'm probably gonna scrap it because we have way too many combative characters anyway.
Well, you could also push him down to a
is a
secondary
spy.
character or important NPC. Like when we were, somebody go ahead and roll. How many we got left? 4. Roll 46. Someone.
I'll do it.
I'm away from my computer, so.
Okay. 12.
Oh.
So you have 12 important PCs.
Got an edge somewhere. One character.
Okay, so I mean, you can make these characters anything you want. Um, it goes into great detail on the forums, but the general gist of it is that basically these guys are numbered 1 through 12, or they will be, and basically I'm adding kind of something from Pendragon a little bit, where at the end of the month, an event will happen based on your house fortune roll, and it may be positive, maybe negative. It's more chance of being positive if you have a positive house fortune roll, but shit's gonna happen. Like, say you have a bad house fortune roll. I have grayscale comes to your house, right? And then that can happen. And then the results, you know, I say what the result is, and then that is current a status of your house, things like that. I'm going to make it a little different, put a little spice into it. Or this NPC could die, or this NPC could increase their stats or lower their stats, things like that. But these guys can help you do all kinds of things, right? At the end of the month, you can say, I want this person to go try to kill this person, right? And then I would, that would be a difficult thing, right? So, but I mean, things simply as I want to increase my influence with this character.
So I have a question for you on this topic.
Okay.
So say my Lady of the House character had the cohort benefit.
Yep.
Would that cohort then count against the important NPCs?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Nope.
So I have something to say. How about, because like thinking of our family history, right? The reason why we don't have an active lord is because he went insane, and then he's like, as an NPC, he's infirm. He's like.
Well, I think Walter was considering playing a.
Yeah, I offered to play the Lord.
I mean, you don't have to though. You don't have to.
Right.
The heir could be running the show, right? It doesn't. I'm just saying, someone has to be in charge, in character. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't mind playing the heir. I don't necessarily want to play the full-on lord, just because I like to typically play characters that maybe haven't earned that status quite yet. But I'm totally fine with playing the heir at least, and even if the heir has to run things, I can do that.
I mean, if you want the Lord to, but here's the thing: if the Lord is crazy, like Rivers was saying, then the heir is going to be making
the heir is the Lord.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
In all but name. But yeah, I don't care how you do it. That's all I'm saying. Is just somebody has to be in the family line of succession, right?
Well, I'll definitely play somebody in the line of succession. Now,
I think we're handicapped enough. We don't need an insane poop in my pants Lord.
Yeah, that was kind of the point I was trying to make. I mean, I'm not going to ask anybody to do it, but Walter, would you be willing to? If you don't want to, that's totally fine.
That's fine. It'll give me a dry run for Henry Mallister. References.
Yeah, a dry run. Dry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine being the Lord will be my secondary character. My first one, as fate would have it, Earth, and I'm going to figure out what his last name's going to be. I'm probably going to go with that cliche one I picked already, but his father is, like I said, he has blood ties to Ironwood. He also switches on the opposing side. So, I mean, long term, you can always try and use that to try and get them to switch sides, allegiances, and that's just the main PC. That's not my secondary PC as the Lord doing what he can to rebuild the reputation of our house. And then if you want to play a secondary character as the heir, you can assist him in that, or if you want to focus on military or leading the cavalry, that's great. And then your main character was kind of, I think you said, the spy, kind of greasy type guy.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be greasy as shit, but he's gonna definitely be greasy in the interest of the house.
No, it's all good.
We lost Rivers somewhere.
Yeah, I think he said he was away from I don't know, he was walking around pooping or something, I don't know.
But
I think
I-
we got. I mean, you guys can keep talking. I mean, that's fine. I'm just here to.
Yeah, I am. I'm happy with the kind of two character ideas I have because I kind of think I fit two roles that we could use. Plus, it gives us more kind of familiar ties, at least with the thing. Do we decide on what our house name will be, or do we just?
You should decide on it. You don't have to right this second, but you'll want a house name, motto, and somebody to whip up a sigil. But yeah, and just don't forget, right? So what I was gonna say is all these important NPCs, you can build them any way you want, right? You can say, okay, we need X military. Okay, our PCs are lacking in this skill, so we can make these guys to help, right? And you can play these NPCs. You can play any NPC you want actually in any session you want. But there's just XP cascade the way it happens. But you can play any of these characters because you're like, I want to go do this session where we do. So let's play these NPCs instead of our normal characters for some reason, right? Who knows what that is? And there might be very good reasons to do it. So you can play any, like this game is formed that you play your two PCs. Otherwise, you guys can play any NPC as a part of your house that you want. Any single one. Now, will that be likely often? Probably not. But, I mean, there might be reasons that you do that. So, keep that in mind. So, like when you say, well, we're really too military heavy. Well, you might be for the PCs, but you can also do support characters from your NPCs.
Right, sort of like I was thinking with the healer.
Right. That would be a perfect, important NPC.
You have to just basically say what roles need to be filled and then offer to fill them. So you have your main characters, and then what do we have left? We have our maester guy if you want to be a healer. We need a sweet talker. So
Actually,
we need someone good with
since
persuasion.
maesters don't exist, she's
The equivalent of.
older lady, orphan of the green blood.
So there you go. You can treat our warts. Anyway, yeah, it says it in World of Ice and Fire, so it's true. Need filled, and who wants to do them? You got your spy, you have your stealthy guy, you have your talker, you have your businessman, you have your, we've already got the heir and some warfare leaders. We have our combat monsters. It's what pieces are missing and who wants to fill those pieces.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And a lot of the sessions will be, I'll be like, what do you guys think you want to do next? What do you want to do next session? Most of them will be like that. And you'll be like, well, I want to try to do this. Okay. Well, what characters do you think you want to use for that session? Well, I want to use these characters. Well, I don't think I don't think you can take the lady to skulk around in this, and trying to one thing I'm pretty sure you guys are going to do. Their law is terrible, so you're going to want to exploit that as much as possible, right?
You betcha.
So yeah,
Rivers and I were already talking about that.
So
yeah.
you want to try to go and do that in some way. Well, I don't think taking the lady of the house is going to work. So pick somebody else, that sort of thing, and that's the way kind of the sessions will be. You will be telling me pretty much what you want to do, and I will be facilitating that as much as possible. So this is going to be kind of different. It's not going to be as like adventure-y, right? It could be in certain circumstances, but in a lot of circumstances, be plotting, politicking, role playing.
Right. Well, and to that end, yeah, we want to look at buying things like assassins and spies. And,
That's yeah.
Why buy when you can make one?
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And just keep in mind So just to explain it real quick, okay, so there's PC actions too. You can have your PC do things at the end of the month as well. You can pick one of your PCs, basically. You pick one of your PCs, they perform a task at the end of the month, just like an NPC would. If you role play, you cannot pick, so for NPCs, you cannot pick an NPC you have played. A PC you can, but an NPC you cannot. So just keep that in mind. If you use an NPC, you can't use them for NPC tasks at the end of the month. So I'm trying this just to add a little flavor and a little bit more house, type dramatic dynamics at the end of the month. So see how it goes.
And I know it's a picture and it means nothing, but just the terrain, and we're talking about the geography and wood, and you look at a picture of the honor guard and the horses they're riding and the terrain they're in, it says nothing of desert. I mean, these guys are in full plate, half plate horses in what appears to be a semi grassland like area. It's not your classic Dorne Spanish desert, whatever they did on the TV show.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was like the one thing. There's some fuck ups in this system as far as how theme is applied, right? We all know that, but yeah, I mean, Dorne in the books had a very strong knightly tradition. Not maybe as high as the reach, but I mean. And a knightly tradition is full plate armor with lances, that sort of thing, right?
I like it. I like the idea that we're kind of the smarter. I mean, they definitely have like the all the money and connections, but we're kind of the smarter, kind of more conniving. We'll do whatever we have to survive, whereas they kind of might take it for granted, kind of thing.
Can we just have our words as "you shall not pass" and just be really cliche?
None shall pass.
I'm just looking at like some of the mottos of the houses down here, and I couldn't help it with the whole bridge over the river, castle in the middle, controlling, really making it out of the bone way or not.
Well, and that was our task during the rebellion, was to hold this choke point.
And probably hold it against them.
Yeah, right.
Lyrion of God's grace, words are no foe may pass.
God's grace is?
Yeah.
I like the whole name of it being called the Orphan.
I think it's cool that it might have like a real name and a slang name, just like everything else in Dorne seems to, right? Like the Bone Way, the Stone Way, that kind of thing.
So here's a question: if the Lord is a status 3, then can the lady of the house likewise be status 3?
Yeah, but I think your status is actually capped at 2. But I need to really look that more. It's like there's conflicting things. Plus, it's kind of worrisome that you can subtract your influence by buying an heir, and then it's going to hurt your house fortune rolls after that because you're now on that table lower than
right
what you started out. And that's kind of weird to me, so I got to look at that, and I might house rule it because I don't like it. Plus, I don't like. I probably will say that you guys are status 3, but yeah, you can be the same status level, yes, regardless. I don't know. I think it's weird. I don't know. I'll take opinions, but
it's a very brutal system. So it's it's brutal in house creation. It's brutal in the gameplay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just saying. I think it's kind of, well. First of all, it's contradictory.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know how we're a house, really, if we're a status 2. Because if you look at the status ranks, that's House Retainer, Lesser Merchant, Alkalite Maester, Hedge Knight, Foreign Merchant, Established Man of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
That's not even a landed knight.
Yeah.
To me, you have to be status 3. I just don't see how a lord could be.
Well, you have to be status 4, really, if you look at the status ranks table. Lord of a minor house.
Yeah.
Below that, it's just member of a minor house.
I mean, unless this is a knightly house, that could be 2, right? That could honestly be the case.
Landed knight, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense, really. Given everything we've done, it really kind of thematically fits.
Yeah, you could be a knightly house instead of actually having. Maybe there's not even a lord.
We're a knightly house trying to crawl our way up into being granted the lordship
Mm-hmm.
or minor noble title.
I kind of like that, actually, being a knightly house instead of. Actually, I mean, it's really. I mean, statistically, it doesn't really matter, but it's kind of cool flavor. So other knightly houses that I can think of off the top of my head are like Vicari and Flint.
And Dorn, I think it's like Dalt, Santagar.
Are they? I thought. Well, I don't think Santagar is it? I think that's. Well, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there's some. But yeah, essentially what it is Clegane. Isn't Clegane a knightly house, or is he a full lord? I think he's knightly house.
Landed Knights, Dalt, Drinkwater, Dane of High Hermit, Santagar.
Definitely. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I also decided, Mike, when I was thinking of some things, one of Arion's other bastards is going to be from Darkstar.
Nice.
I think that's what it's got to be. Yeah. So, alright, I'm going to cut the recording for sure. So I think we're done here for the most part.
Yeah, now